Okay, so this video is going to start with problem number 32, where it says 14 is less than x, and is less, not x, but 2x minus 10. Is less than or equal to 28. So the way that I do this problem, they say I want the answer in interval notation, is I'm going to add 10 because that's how I'm trying to get x by itself in the middle. So if I'm going to add 10 there, I'm going to add 10 to all three spaces in this inequality. So I wind up with 24 is less than x is less than or equal to 36. This should be a 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and we get 12 is less than x is less than or equal to 18. If I'm doing this in notation, I put a parenthesis around the 12 because the 12 is not included. I put a bracket around the 18 because the 18 is included. And there's my answer. So, first I need to find the slope. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. And we get 8y equals negative 2x minus 10. And then I'm going to divide by 8. And I get y equals negative 1/4 x minus 5/4. But really, this part of my problem doesn't matter because we're going to find a brand new y-intercept. So the point we had up here was 5, negative 2. So I'm going to plug in that into this to find out what my new b is. So negative 2 equals negative 1/4 times 5 plus b. So I got negative 2 equals negative 5/4 plus b. Add 5/4, and we wind up with negative 3/4 equals b. So my answer would be y equals negative 1/4 x minus 3/4. Of course, if the answer is in standard notation, then I have to change this back to standard notation, which means I need to multiply this all by 4 because, so if this is one of the answers, choose it. But if the choices are in standard notation, we get 4y equals negative 1x minus 3. And then I'm going to add x to both sides. And I got x plus 4y equals negative 3. And that's only if we need standard. So one of these two answers will be the choice. Alright, for this next problem, which we're now on problem number 34, I'm going to take this 5x minus 6, because that's the one that's inside, then that's the one to the right, and plug it in here. So I got 3 times 5x minus 6 squared minus 1. Now when we're doing this problem and we got the 5x minus 6 squared, I'm going to go on the side here and do 5x minus 6 squared. Some of you can do this without doing it on the side, but I want to make sure we all know how to do it. So when I use that FOIL word that you like to use so much, we get 25x squared minus 60x plus 36. So I'm now at 3 times 25x squared minus 60x plus 36 minus 1. And I wind up with 75x squared minus 180x plus 108 minus 1. So when I finally subtract the 1 off, I get my answer for g of f of x equaling 75x squared minus 180x plus 107. To find the average rate of change for this problem, the first thing we need to do is we need to find out what f of 4 is and what f of 6 is. So when I plug in 4, I get 4 squared minus 3 times 4, which turns out to be 4. And when I plug in 6, I get 6 squared minus 3 times 6, which turns out to be 18. So we got 18 minus 4 because we're going to do the slope formula over 6 minus 4. So I got 14 divided by 2, which turns out to be 7. For problem number 36, they ask for the inverse function, except for the inverse is not a function, but we'll find the inverse anyway. First thing for any inverse is to switch x and y. Now when I subtract 2, I get x minus 2 equals 3y to the 4th. Divide both sides by 3. And we get x minus 2 divided by 3 equals y to the 4th. Now I'm going to take the 4th root. Now when I take the 4th root, because it's even, we need to remember to put a plus or minus. And to use the inverse function notation, that's f negative 1 of x. We also could have had this be x minus 2 over 3 to the 1/4 power if the answers have fractional exponents instead of roots. And that's it for the review. If you have any questions, you know how to contact me.